Dear English literature learners, I'd like to give you some idea on brief questions with answers on the age of Chaucer, 1350 to 1450. But this video is confined to brief questions with answers on the age of Chaucer. My next video will be on short questions with answers on the age of Chaucer, 1350 to 1450, part B. The age of Chaucer, 1350 to 1450, part A. Question 1. Who is Chaucer? Answer. Geoffrey Chaucer, 1340 to 1400, is called the father of English poetry. He is the first great English poet. The Canterbury Tales is his original work, and it is English through and through. He is the first national English poet. Question 2. What is the duration of the age of Chaucer? Answer. The age of Chaucer began in the 1340 when Chaucer was born and ended in 1400 when he died. Question 3. Why is Chaucer called the father of English poetry? Answer. Chaucer is called the father of English poetry because he was the first English poet to write in a style of language which is easily recognizable today. He is undoubtedly the founder of English literature and language. With Chaucer, the English language and literature grew at a bound to full maturity. Question 4. What are the three main poetic phases or period of Chaucer? Answer. The three periods of Chaucer's poetic career are the French, the Italian, and the English period. The French, or the first period, is the period of apprenticeship, 1359 to 1372. The Italian to the second period is called the period of independence and creativeness, 1379 to 1385. The third period, or the English period, is the period of creative independence, 1385 to 1390. Question 5. Mention any three of Chaucer's writing written during the French period. Answer. The three writings of Chaucer written during the French period are: number 1, The Death of Blanche the Duchess; number 2, Complaint unto Rite; number 3, An ABC and Complaint of Mars. Question 6. Mention any three of the Chaucer's writings written during the Italian period. Answer. The three writings of Chaucer written during the Italian period are: number 1, The Parliament of Fowls; number 2, The House of Fame; number 3, Troilus and Cressida. Question 7. Mention any of the Chaucer's writings written during the English period. Answer. The only writing of Chaucer written during the English period is the Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales proves a unique work in English literature for all times to come. Question 8. What are the contemporary poets of Chaucer? Answer. William Langland and John Gower are contemporary poets of Chaucer. Question 9. Mention some Scottish writers during the age of Chaucer. Answer. Some Scottish Chaucerians during the age of Chaucer are King James I, Robert Henryson, William Dunbar, Gawain Douglas, Henry Better, etc. Question 10. Who is Thomas Malory? Answer. Sir Thomas Malory is the author of the greatest English work of the 15th century. It is Morte d'Arthur, a collection of Arthurian romances told in simple and vivid prose. Question 11. What is Morte d'Arthur? Answer. Morte d'Arthur is undoubtedly the greatest English work of the 15th century. It is a collection of the Arthurian romances told in simple and vivid prose. Sir Thomas Malory is the author of the book. Question 12. Who is John Wycliffe? Answer. During the age of Chaucer, there was a series of outbursts of orthodoxy. John Cliff, 1320 to 1384, called the first Protestant, was a professor at Oxford and the chaplain of King Edward III. Wycliffe and his followers made an organized attack upon the church? Question 13. What did the 100 Years' War occur? Answer. The 100 Years' War occurred between 1337 and 1453 between England and French. Question 14. What do you mean by the 100 Years' War? Answer. The long drawn-out conflict between England and French that occurred between 1337 and 1453 are generally labeled as 100 Years' War. Question 15. What is Black Death? Answer. During the reign of Edward III, the Black Death, the outbreak of plague, the terrible pestilence, carried off no less than 1/3 of the population. The medical science of the period was powerless to cope up with the pestilence. Question 16. Mention some of the characters of the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. Answer. There are 30 characters, including the narrator in the prologue to the Canterbury Tales: the monk, the knight, the miller, the wife of Bath, the squire, the yeoman, the prioress, the friar, the parson, the reeve, the pardoner, the summoner, etc. are some of the characters of the prologue. Question 17. When and where was Geoffrey Chaucer born? Answer. Geoffrey Chaucer, the father of English poetry, was born in 1340 in England. Question 18. When did Chaucer die? Chaucer died in 1400 and he was buried in the Westminster Abbey. He is the first poet who was buried in the Poets' Corner. Question 19. Mention some Italian writers or poets who influenced the English authors. Answer. Dante, Petrarch, Boccaccio, and Grito are some Italian writers who influenced the English authors, including Chaucer. Question 20. Mention some French writers who influenced Chaucer. Answer. Chaucer was influenced by the French masters like Maillart, Guillaume de Loris, and Jean de Meung at the early stage of his poetic career. Question 21. What is the Canterbury Tales? Answer. The Canterbury Tales is the last and the best work. It reveals Chaucer's comic art and bears out the true comic spirit in English literature. It is Chaucer's most original and truly English, which is the product of his sufficient maturity as a storyteller in verse. Question 22. What is the House of Fame? Answer. The House of Fame is an allegorical work of Chaucer. It reveals his power to blend realism with allegory and exhibits his fine sense of wit and humor. It was written during his second or Italian period. Question 23. What is the Parliament of Fowls? Answer. The Parliament of Fowls is an allegorical work of Chaucer. This poem presents a parliament of different birds, big birds of prey, as also small common birds. It also shows his fine sense of wit and humor, art of characterization, and his excellent narrative art. Question 24. Who wrote Trilous and Cresside? Answer. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote Trilous and Cresside. It is a well-celebrated love romance. The theme to the romance is the tragic love of Trilous and Cresside, the two Trojan lovers. Question 25. Who wrote Propicio Amantis? Answer. John Gower wrote Propicio Amantis. It is his last important work. It is a long compilation of 40,000 octosyllabic lines. It is said to have been written at the bidding of King Richard. Question 26. What are the three poems of John Gower? Answer. The three poems of John Gower are Speculum Meditans in French, Vox Clementis in Latin, and Confessio Amantis in English. Gower is one of the contemporaries of Chaucer. Question 27. Who was John Bell? What was his motto? John Bell was a Kentish priest who preached the doctrine of social equality and justice. It is a kind of socialism. Question 28. Who is William Langland? Mention one of his poems. Answer. William Langland is one of the contemporaries of Chaucer. His most important work is Piers Plowman. It is his allegorical writing. Question 29. What is Piers the Plowman? What type of writing is it? Piers the Plowman stands out as the most renowned work after the Canterbury Tales of Chaucer in the English literature of the 14th century. It is an impressive allegory more deeply concerned with religious, ethical, social, and economic problems of the time. Question 30. Who is John Barbour? What is his famous writing? Answer. John Barbour was the national poet of Scotland in the 14th century, and his main work is Bruce. Though he was a churchman, his principal work, the Bruce, was not religious or ethical, but rather political and patriotic. Question 31. Who is John Ligget? What are his important writings? John Ligget is considered as the most prolific author of the Middle Ages of England. His works include the stories of Thebes, Troy Book, Fall of Princes, The Pilgrimage to Man, etc. Question 32. Who is Thomas Huckleaf? What are his important works? Answer. Thomas Huckleaf is one of the imitators of Chaucer. He is particularly noted for his Regiment of Princes. His other works are Gesta Romanorum, The Emperor and Jonathus, Jerusalem's Wife. Question 33. Who is Stephen Hawes? What are his important works? Answer. Stephen Hawes is the name of the last important English Chaucerians. His most important work is the Pastime of Pleasure. His other important works are the Examples of Virtue, the Conversion of Ceres, the Comfort of Flowers, etc. Question 34. Who is John Skelton and what are his important writings? John Skelton is a writer of verse in the medieval tradition and showed some novelty of subject and manner. He is faithful to satirical allegory. His two important works are Why Come You Not to the Church and Book of Philip Sparrow. Question 35. Who is Alexander Berkeley? What are his two important works? Answer. Alexander Berkeley is famous as the first writer who introduced the pastoral in English poetry. Ship of Fools and Eclogues are his two important works. Question 36. What are the literary work of King James I? Answer. The King's Quair is a love allegory by King James I. He brought the Chaucerian tradition from England. He is the first Scottish Chaucerian. Question 37. Who is Robert Henryson? What are his important writings? Answer. Robert Henryson is one of the greatest Scottish Chaucerians who was nearest to Chaucer in tempo. His important writings are the Testament of Crusade, Moral Fables of Aesop, and Raven and Mackay. Question 38. Who is William Duber? What are his important writings? Answer. William Duber is the chief of the Scottish Chaucerians. His versatility and originality are amazing. His important works are the Threeshill and the Rios. The Mary and the Nightingale and Dance of the Seven Deadly Sins are his works. Question 39. Who is Gawain Douglas? What are his two allegories? Gowan Douglas is a Scottish Chaucerian who imitates Chaucer. His two allegories are The Police of Honour and King Hart. His best work is a translation of Aeneid. Question 40. Who is John Mandeville? Why is he famous for? Answer. John Mandeville was a famous prose writer during the age of Chaucer. He is famous for his book The Travels of Sir John Mandeville. Question 41. Who is William Caxton? Why is he famous for? Answer. William Caxton is the first English printer who established a printing press in London and printed a series of books. This constitutes an interesting landmark in the literary growth of England. Question 42. Who is Sir Thomas Malory? Why is he famous for? Answer. Sir Thomas Malory is famous as the author of Morte d'Arthur. This book has a considerable importance in English literature as the source book of many Arthurian romances. Question 43. Who is John Fisher? Answer. John Fisher is one of the prose writers of the 15th century. His prose works are the first of the rhetorical religious books that for several centuries were an outstanding feature of English prose. Question 44. What are the important ballads during 15th century? Chevy Chase and Nut Brown Maid are the two important ballads during the 15th century. Chevy Chase is the oldest and the finest of epical ballads. The Nut Brown Maid is a song of love. Question 45. What are the literary forms developed during the age of Chaucer? The literary forms developed during the age of Chaucer are lyric poems, ballads, allegories, metrical romances, and prose works. Question 46. What are the allegories of Chaucer? Answer. Chaucer was definitely influenced by French allegories, and they are Roman de la Rose, the Book of Blanche, the Parliament of Owls, the House of Fame, the Legend of Good Omen, etc. Thank you for watching. I'm Shamim Sarwar. My next video is on the short questions with answers on the age of Chaucer. Have a nice day.